Well, despite claims made by Kagame's opposition and human rights organizations, the hard fact remains that the international community has given him more than just tacit support. Let's have a look at some of the reasons why. Well, he's been widely praised for bringing stability and rebuilding the country after the genocide. He's promised to transform Rwanda into a so-called middle-income country in the next 10 years. He says he has plans to make Rwanda into an African hub for the IT industry. Well, despite being relatively poor in terms of natural resources, Rwanda is seen as a serious strategic asset for the big mineral exporting region in the neighboring Democratic Republic of Congo. Well, for some analysis, let's speak to Ayo Johnson. He's a political analyst with Viewpoint Africa and joins me from London. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Johnson. Can these elections be taken seriously, given that the main opposition candidates have been banned, at different times locked up, that over 30 media organizations have been banned in the run-up to these elections? Are these elections, as some opposition figures have said, a farce?
Well, they do have a point, because there's been a lot of intimidation. We've had violence. We've had the opposition feeling that they've had the wrong end of the whip here. And clearly they are entitled to complain. I think Paul Kagame is clearly running Rwanda with an iron fist, be it that clearly he's had some very, very good policies that have actually worked, where he's attracted large numbers of foreign direct investment, and he has got this ability to entertain the international media and very prominent individuals around the world very kindly. So on one hand, you have the Paul Kagame, who's very, very ruthless and tough. On the other hand, you have economic reform and development, which is moving very, very, very fast in that country. So it's a balancing act. Paul Kagame is very convinced that his form of democracy is completely different from everybody else's. Clearly so. But he's going by results. He's saying the facts, hard facts are the economy is working.
Yeah, is the economy working? Is the economy working at the expense of freedom of speech, human rights and democracy?
That's the question. Clearly, freedom of speech is a major problem in Rwanda because the elections are being marred by these inconsistencies with the fact that the opposition have not been having the freedom to say what they like, when they like and how they like. And large numbers of their supporters have been arrested. And of course, journalists are being intimidated as well. It's just his style, and he thinks he wouldn't change. More than likely, he will win. But it means that Rwanda will be tainted moving forward by these suspicions that it's not truly a free country in the traditional sense.
Yeah, you mentioned that, more than likely you will win. The Social Democratic Party, the Liberal Party and the Party of Progress and Concord, which are all running against the president, are all actually allies of the president. So he got 95% 7 years ago. He probably could get something similar this time round. I think one of the deeper and maybe more disturbing questions to ask is the state and ruling party using the sympathy of the genocide, the sympathy of a horrible history to suppress any dissent within the country and to, as you say, keep ruling the country with that iron fist, as you mentioned?
Well, yes, they're going to play on everything to ensure that they maintain their power. But yes, absolutely, what happened in '94 was appalling, and clearly the Tutsis were massacred in large numbers, and he is riding on that wave, no doubt about that. But in saying that, he's convinced that his way forward is the way for Rwanda, and he wouldn't change either way. And it would appear that the international community, who have huge stakes in that country, are remaining very, very quiet on this particular issue.
Are they going to continue to support him? Are they going to continue to support him?
Well, in the short term, it would appear so, that they are going to continue to support him. More than likely, they will endorse the elections, be it that we have all these problems with the opposition, quite concerned that they're not having a fair crack at the whip with these elections. But nonetheless, I think the international community has accepted that he would win, and that's the state of Rwanda moving forward, because their interest is at stake, if otherwise he were to leave power.
Ayo Johnson, pleasure hearing your thoughts and analysis. Thanks a lot for joining us.